Welcome to World Transits Today. I'm Art Granoff. Connect with me at Reference Astrology in the Reference Library, where you can find information about archetypal astrology, and you can watch some videos that I made about archetypal astrology. You can also book time with me online. Eat off the menu. And today, I'm going to show the October 2024 World Transits in Archetypal Astrology. Let's kick it off today with the current long-term outer planet world transits. Three in particular start with Uranus trine Pluto, started in 2022 and runs till 2032. Uranus represents BPM4, freedom, release from mother's body, victory. And Pluto represents fire, either creative fire bubbling up from within, or fire that takes over your life and starts burning you up and everyone around it. Uranus with Pluto, freedom with intensity, reminiscent of the 1960s, where we had, as I say, men grew their hair and women threw out their bras. We also had race riots in the Vietnam War. So that would be the template. And also the French Revolution. Freedom, fraternity, and chop their heads off. Freedom with intensity. So here we are just at the beginning of it, the first couple of years, and we've got many to go. So Uranus trine Pluto. Also have Uranus sextile Neptune. Uranus again, BPM4, freedom, release from mother's body. And Neptune, BPM1, representing the transcendent, all-inclusive consciousness, the one, flow. Uranus with Neptune, easy access to the transcendent. Try it out. And also, the long-term 100-year transit, Neptune sextile Pluto. Again, Neptune dissolves and Pluto intensifies. Neptune on the shadow can be delusion, and Pluto on the shadow, the crusher, the killer. You rip your head off. Neptune with Pluto could be scared of intensity. And in a way, if we look at this transit from the mid-1930s until the 2030s, we see its legacy of lots of war and destruction, killing, all righty? You could say that if you're deluded and upset, that you may want to kill someone before they kill you. I mean, that would be ultimate delusion. But I'm going with that as the motif for the last 100 years, and it looks pretty dark now. Also, Neptune and Pluto, very deep in psychedelic experience, deep with the transcendent, and deep with Pluto, Hades, the underground, the depth of our psyche. Okay. We can see it here. We have Uranus trine Neptune, and we have Neptune trine Pluto, and Uranus trine Pluto. And if you notice, you go back a year or two, say in 2022, we're happening there, same thing, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27, and 27. So for the next years, the three outer planets all together, good time for journeying and understanding what's going on in the journey with archetypal astrology. Okay, again, Saturn conjunct Neptune, 3-year transit. Very important. Saturn either builds or restricts, and Neptune is smooth. Neptune is flowing. Neptune, again, the transcendent. Or you could say Saturn is what's real, and Neptune is what's ideal. Okay, is it this or is it that? We just don't know. We're trying to find out. Also, during this time, we had the planet Jupiter. We noticed that we have Jupiter square with Saturn. Jupiter expands, grows, brings success. So it could bring success to something you're doing, something you're creating, something you're manifesting, or it could be toughness, could be tight. You can't get through somewhere. Jupiter, Saturn. And we have Jupiter, Neptune at the same time. So it's Saturn, Neptune as the big chord, and Jupiter, Neptune as small chords on top. Jupiter again expands, and Neptune is the transcendent, the one, the flow, which is pretty good. Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune. And now some of the inner planet world transits. This month, October 2024, very strong month for Mars. You notice Mars front and center. We start the month with Mars trine Saturn, left over from last month. If Mars is strong will and action and the need to move and do something, okay, you could say it's force. And there's Saturn, either strength or restriction. So one example would be Mars with Saturn. Force meets resistance. Pow, pow. Sparks are flying. Could be tough. Also, Mars with Saturn could be doing the toughest work from your depth, being super tenacious until the job's done. And now, Mars with the three outer planets. We notice Mars with Uranus from the beginning of the month through the end, through into November. Mars with Neptune around the same time, and Mars with Pluto. Wow. Mars with Uranus. Uranus, the new thing. Mars is action. What can I do that's new? What's required of me that's new right now? Let me think about that. Let me consider doing that. Mars trine Neptune, moving towards wholeness. What can I do? How can I act to move towards wholeness, whatever that means for me? And Mars opposite Pluto. This could be a little tough. Okay, Mars is force, Pluto is intensity. And if we look at the world right now, it kind of it's pretty tough. Okay, Mars, Pluto. It's just rip their heads off and think about it tomorrow. Mars, action, strong will, and Pluto, intensity, the underworld. So, looks like for Mars and October, lots of Mars. And just to add to the heat, let's add the sun, see what's happening with the sun. Sun and Mars. We've got the sun on Jupiter, which is sunny, which is Jupiter expands, it brings good fortune. The sun with Mars, hey, not only is Mars with the outer planets, but the sun, we identify with Mars, identifying with all those things I mentioned. And Mars with Pluto, distinction, Hades, identifying with that creative fire or just fire eating us, burning us up. One might say the expression of sun with Mars could look something like Kali. Hey, there she is. And you could almost say that the motif of the world today, as we slowly drift to World War III, as Kali time, sun with Mars. Also, I highlighted it here. Sun Mars, Sun Pluto. Okay, so it's Sun Mars Pluto and Mars Pluto, right? So for this period from like the 8th or so of October to the beginning of November, it's a Sun Mars Pluto party. And if you look over here, from the 11th of October until November 1st, it's a Sun, Mars, Pluto T-square. Three primal planets in direct alignment as a T-square. Could be pretty intense. It looks like it's getting that way. Hopefully we can do some breathing through it and watch it go by. Let's welcome Charles Lloyd. You know him, right? Famous musician. Got some notes here. He's performing over 60 years, and early in his career, his album, Forest Flower, live album, sold over 1 million copies. He's still going strong at 86. This year, he's performing in the United States and China. And his recent albums on Blue Note have been spectacular. And maybe some of that music is worth your time. Many of his tunes may add value to a Journey playlist. And you can catch Charles Lloyd live on YouTube. I'll leave a few links below. Notice here, Charles Lloyd, Sun, Pluto, Mars, Pluto. And surprise, at 87 years old, he won the Downbeat Top Musician of the Year. That's pretty good. Okay, thank you, Charles Lloyd. Mercury, here we go. Mercury's the mind, communications, all of our mental process. With Jupiter, expanding on that. Could be some type of training or learning some new things, some strategy perhaps. We have Mercury with Pluto, mind digging under the surface, seeking the prize. Could be reading thick books, could diving into perhaps all types of material, including yourself, looking for something further, something deeper, okay, and then perhaps communicating about that. You have a Mercury with Saturn. Saturn either binds, restricts, or encloses in safety, strength. So Mercury, Saturn could be restriction of some kind with your mind, or it could be your mind on a track. Many of us grew up in families with certain ideologies and religious leanings that they perhaps tried to transmit to us, sometimes successfully, sometimes not successfully. Mercury with Saturn, the paradigm, like Grofian psychology with archetypal astrology. Train on the track, so you're going. And then towards the end of the month, it's Mercury with the three outer planets. Mercury, Uranus, the aha moment, when you get it, finally. Mercury, Neptune, your imagination, meditation. And Mercury, Pluto, once again, digging under the surface, finding the prize. Mercury transits. Let's add the sun. Now, it looks as though those transits have gelled into a month-long field of the sun, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. We have the sun with Mercury, half of the month, with Jupiter and Mercury, identifying with our mind, with communications, growing in some sense, learning new things, communicating new things. We've got the sun with Jupiter, expansion, sunny, successful, digging under the surface, Mercury, Pluto. And we have sun with Pluto, sun square Pluto. At the same time with Mercury square Pluto. Good time to really dig deep, find what you're looking for, and let it out, express it with distinction from your core. And Mercury, Saturn, either on the track or restricted. How about Venus? This month with Venus, start off with Venus trine Saturn and end the month with Venus square Saturn. And in the middle, it's Venus with the three outer planets. Venus with Saturn. It's either restriction in love, something's not really flowing too well, there's something blocking in some way. Or, of course, the motif of the happy older couple standing around the kitchen, stirring the shiitake mushrooms together. Been through a lot of stuff and they're doing okay right now. So let's see, we've got Venus with Uranus, the new love, the fresh aesthetics. Venus with Neptune, Venus the heart, Neptune the divine heart, the transcendent. Pretty nice. And Venus Pluto, Beauty and the Beast. Venus tenderness, heart, open and giving, with Pluto, Hades. Okay. And we end up the month again with Venus square Saturn. We add the sun. We see bookcasing. Venus transits is the sun with Jupiter and the sun with Pluto. Expansion of intensity. Not bad. And I'm going to show you here. Venus, right? Check it out. Opposite Uranus. Venus trine Neptune. And Venus sextile Pluto. Mary Oliver. Let's welcome Mary Oliver with Venus trine Uranus in her chart. Venus trine Uranus. Open, fresh love. Venus conjunct Neptune in her chart, just like I mentioned. Human heart, divine heart. And she also has Mars trine Neptune. She's pretty powerful, pretty strong. And one more, Uranus square Neptune. We have Uranus trine Neptune in the sky for the next 10 years. Here's some notes. It says Mary Oliver, born 1935, 2019, beloved author of many books. She started writing poetry at age 14. And her poetry is grounded in memories of her adopted home in Ohio and New England. And she says, I felt those first important connections, for those first experiences being made with the natural world were more important than the social world. And here's her poem. Hey, poem of the one world. You want to read it together with me out loud? Let's do it. This morning, the beautiful white heron was floating along above the water and then into the sky of this beautiful one world we all belong to, where everything, sooner or later, is a part of everything else, which thought made me feel for a little while quite beautiful myself. Thank you, Mary Oliver. Election time. Personal transits for Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Let's just look at them for a moment. I'm not going to say anything. Thank you, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And tomorrow, October 2nd, we have the new moon, sun conjunct moon right there, okay? And this new moon with Mercury, Mars, and Neptune. Hey. And then a couple of weeks later, full moon, October 17th, sun opposite the moon. And this full moon with Mercury, Mars, and Pluto. So thanks for joining me at World Transits Today, everybody, covering the October 2024 World Transits. I'm going down to Ojai, California. I'm in the Grof Legacy Training Facilitator Program. We have a week's retreat, and we're going to do 2 sessions of Grof breathwork. I'll report back next time.